Yes, guys, welcome back to another video on the football bias. It's your boy Thebe. And today we have a topic that brings a lot of joy in my heart. It makes me smile, get all giddy. And that is the problems that are happening at Manchester United Football Club. So before we jump into it, thank you so much for everybody who's tuned in on the last video. Got a lot of positive response on that. So please get involved, like, subscribe. Trying to get at least 10 likes on this video. So please, if you see it and you watch me for the first time, subscribe. So disclaimer, first of all, I am not a Manchester United fan, but I'm a football fan. I do despise Manchester United with every fiber of my being. Like, this club ruined my childhood. But I'm going to try my best to put my bias aside just for the duration of this video. So we all know Manchester United, the Red Devils. Arguably one of the most famous football institutions, not only in England, but in fact in the world. You can go anywhere in the globe and they know Manchester United. So there's a number of factors that have led to the Manchester United that we watch today. So I'm going to try my best to just focus on the here and now, because the Glazers are essentially taking a back seat and it's Ineos in town. So what are they going to cook? So there's nowhere else for me to start this chat but then with the manager, Erik ten Hag. Now, admittedly, I was one of the people siding with the argument to keep Ten Hag following winning the FA Cup against Manchester City last season. However, it wasn't by a landslide. I wasn't fully convinced because of the football that we watch. There's no patterns of play, and a lot of the players are not improving. But I was merely giving the benefit of the doubt because last season, let's be frank, they were ravaged with injuries. It was a very tough season to go through. But now we fast forward to today, not even a quarter into the new season, with arguably a much more fully fit squad, and it's looking particularly worse, which was not expected. So to put this into context, Erik ten Hag has broken his own record for the worst starts of a Manchester United manager. A record set by himself, as mentioned. They have a -5 goal difference in home games. They're winless in the Europa League. In fact, winless in Europe in the last, 9-10 games. I stand to be corrected. And this is even more damaging when you think about the last Europa League game that they played against FC Porto, taking a 2-0 lead, only to then have to be saved by Harry Maguire to draw the game 3-3. So now I do think that some of these results that we're seeing this season, they're due to him having to bed in new players that he's brought in this season, players that might have been injured last season that we didn't see. And he's also trying to establish a style of play, something that he's been criticized with for a long time. So what I'm seeing when I watch United, it seems like they're trying to play a 4-2-4 going forward, whereby you have Bruno pushing in from the middle to support whoever's playing as striker as well as the wingers. But the main issue that I have with the tactics that he's deploying right now is that it leaves the midfield two with a lot of work to handle. So you got the likes of Kobbie Mainoo, who should be working in those central areas. He's being pulled here, he's being pulled there. You got Casemiro, who just, for some reason, is not playing a 6, wants to play an 8, some advanced role. It's essentially too easy to bypass the middle. And then when you look at Xerxes, he's not giving what a number 9 should give, which is head of the line, trying to get the ball in those forward areas, attacking the defenders. He instead wants to drop into the positions that a Bruno Fernandes has to occupy. So essentially it can work if Bruno Fernandes is getting forward into the positions and getting on the end of goals, which they particularly are drying up for Bruno Fernandes. And that seems to be a big problem. Now, the problem I see, as I've mentioned, is that the midfield is left with way too much to do, and it's leaving them severely exposed. It's very easy for an attacking opposition to get at Manchester United. And these tactics come from the manager. So I then asked myself, let me take a proper look into the squad. And if I'm being completely honest with you, as an Arsenal fan, the only player that I would take from that Manchester United squad, a squad filled with, 25, 27, 30 players, I'd literally only take Kobbie Mainoo. Only. And this is Manchester United, guys. Let's keep it real. When Manchester United play on the weekend and they're ringing out and they're naming the starting 11, I'm not scared. And you can even see it when the opposition players are playing Manchester United. They're just not scared. And before the season kicked off, we all saw the narrative. We all saw the positivity and the headlines amongst the fan base. Ineos is in town. The big bad Glazers are gone. And then they started to conduct their transfer business. Lenny Yoro, Joshua Zirkzee, De Ligt, Mazraoui, Ugarte. If we're being honest, right, these are good players from good teams. But are they going to take Manchester United back to where Manchester United belong? I don't know. Let's look into it more closely. De Ligt and Mazraoui. The fact that Bayern were willing to let both of these players go without even replacing them, that to me was a red flag. Now, Mazraoui has looked good in certain games, especially in the beginning. He looks to be somewhat of an upgrade on Wan-Bissaka. Maybe not defensively, but certainly going forward, he's got more to offer. And then we look at De Ligt. Just give me the light. That's what they told us. This guy is borderline finished. Let's be quite honest, man. And the English game will just further expose him. He's too quick to get into the tackle. He doesn't read the game as much as you'd want him to. And to be quite frank, he's not even starting for his country. And then we look at Joshua Zirkzee. Zirkzee looked good in certain games. And even for Bologna, he was very good. But let's keep it a buck, guys. If you're getting a striker that scored 11 goals in the Italian Serie A, just how much are you expecting him to bang in the English Premier League? Let's just be 100% honest. Banter aside, I genuinely think they bought a striker that can't strike. They keep comparing him to a Roberto Firmino, but he's not doing what a Roberto Firmino was doing. And then let's look at Ugarte. He's supposed to be the supposed savior of this midfield. Whatever problems they were having with Casemiro aging, no number 6, Ugarte was supposed to come in and be the guy. But let's be honest, guys. PSG bought this guy for 60 to 70 mil? Luis Enrique looked at him for a few months and he was like, nah. And he didn't play effectively. So Manchester United thought that, okay, this is the guy that we need. I feel that Ugarte on the ball, there's a lot to be desired. But now let's be fair. It's very early to judge these players and even judge them harshly. But I'm just saying we all have eyes and I'm just chopping what I see when I see them play. And yet again, when we're looking at this, the blame has to fall square on the shoulder of the manager. He's the one picking the players. He's the one deploying the tactics. And he's not playing to the strengths of these players. And these are essentially his players. Players that he's previously managed. Players that he's spent money on. A lot of money, I might add. So he needs to do more to get more out of these players. Now, following these bad results leading up to the previous international break, the general assumption was that Ten Hag is going to go. But Ineos choosing to dig their heels in and keep the guy that they even extended his contract. But as we sit here today on the 16th of October, international break is over and the league is looming, about to begin again. He's still the manager of Manchester United. Some are happy, some are vexed, some just want to burn the shirt. And I get it. And I always thought it was strange that they gave him a contract extension. But also, if you're Ineos, you need to show some form of solidarity. So were they convinced that he's the guy, or were they just giving him enough rope to hang himself? So only time will tell. But at this stage, it's not looking good, man. So let's keep it a buck, guys. Trophies are the currency in football. And Ten Hag will be the first to remind us, as we've seen, he will remind us that he's won 2 trophies in the past 2 years, you know? And he claims that only Pep Guardiola has done better than him. Factually speaking, yeah, we can't take away the trophies. But if he and some United fans want to tell us that a Carabao Cup and the FA Cup is enough leeway for what we're seeing right now, I think they're very naive. Now, Manchester United, it's a very huge conglomerate, and you have multiple opinions and think pieces on what they need to do, who they need to hire, what players they need to get. But personally, for me, if we just strip it all down, I think they just need to go back to being hard to beat. Manchester United is way too easy to beat. Teams can rock up to Old Trafford, bop them off the pitch, 3-0, 2-0, whatever the case might be, and then they're struggling to make chances, struggling to score goals. I just think they need to get back to that place where they're just resolute and hard to beat. So whether they decide to keep Ten Hag, whether they go for a new manager, whether they decide to give Van Nistelrooy the role, they just need to find a way to become harder to beat. And we still see some of the comparisons that they've liked to make between Ten Hag and Arteta. But they fail to understand that with Arteta, Arsenal always got better. So year in, year out, from the first year that he came in, the defense conceded less goals. The attack scored more goals. Our points accumulated over the seasons always got more and more. It never transgressed. But this is not the case with Manchester United. So it's very unfair to compare the two. So I don't know what has to be done to get Manchester United back to the glory days, to be honest. But I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts, that's for sure. But in all honesty, I do hope they find a way to get back, because a lot of my close friends support Manchester United. And I can't even banter these guys. It's not even fun anymore. I'm not even enjoying it. Like, they don't have the spark in their eyes when they see their team play. And trust me, as an Arsenal fan, I remember those days where you just want to, you don't even want to watch the full game. You just want to get from minute 1 until minute 90 and just see the result. Because you know what's going to happen in between. It's going to be a roller coaster. So I do understand it. But if we, being honest, a good Manchester United, not only good for the English league, but is good for football in general. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, please like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments. Do you agree? Do you not agree? What should Manchester United do? Are Ineos wrong by sticking with Ten Hag? Can Ten Hag turn it around? What should they do? Thank you very much for tuning in. Please, as again, like, subscribe, comment, get involved. Keep it locked on the Football Bias. Peace.